Karl, I'm so disappointed in John in a number of ways. This is going to sound so stupid, but first of all, does he have no command of the microphone? Does he not know anything about levels and, maybe getting off the mic when he's loud and getting close to the mic when he's talking more softly and staying at a reasonable distance from the camera? I mean, he's worked in TV and radio a long time. Isn't that a basic problem?
I'm shocked this is where you're starting. I'm not expecting this at all. With everything that John has done over the last 2 weeks, and I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in months because so much has happened in the last 2 weeks. And you're starting with his mic control. I agree. He's a terrible broadcaster, but I was not expecting that. Wow.
No, I've watched so much yelling and so much, going crazy, and his face is right up in the camera, which is funny because I love the screenshots. I mean, I don't want him to stop doing what he's doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just critiquing him a little bit. And then his comebacks are they're so bad. I don't know. I'm just, in a way, all of it makes me mad at everyone. When I see him and Chad Zumock together, I feel like there's something that gets canceled out.
I was so excited to see. So John came back on Misery Loves Company, a show that's hosted by Kevin Brennan. I've been on that show a few times, and Kevin let me come on and talk to Stuttering John. So that was right before I did my last appearance here on the Drew and Mike show.
And that was great, by the way. That was great, and you exited at just the right time.
I thought so too. People were like, "Why are you leaving this to go talk to Drew and Mike? This is years in the making." I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is the perfect time."
Now that you left everybody wanting more, and there wasn't a lot more to get done. You got done pretty much what had to be done, I thought.
Well, there's a lot more to talk to him about, but what are we going to do? Drag it out for 4 hours? I'd rather do another episode. That's what John and I were talking about. I had a phone conversation with him later in the week. We talked about him coming on my channel. We were going to do round 2, and then that turned into, wow, John thought we were friends. And so after that, he saw that I was still goofing on him, and then he got mad at me and called it a betrayal and didn't think I had integrity because we had a phone conversation. Like, John, this is what I do for a living. I don't know what you think's going to happen here. He's like mad at the scorpion. He's like the frog. He's upset with the scorpion taking him across the pond. Yeah, I don't know what you think is going to happen. You're back on the internet in full force. You're on with Chad Zumock. This is a dream come true for Who Are the Podcast. I got Chad Zumock and Stuttering John doing 6 hours in less than 3 days together. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to be talking about this.
Loses.
And did I hear correctly? Is there a network coming of this?
Well,
the Chad Zumock network?
No, that's not a thing.
Okay.
They've already had a falling out.
Yes.
Chad and John.
Yeah.
Okay, because Chad was getting all of the super chat money and John wasn't getting his share of it because John couldn't. Correct?
Well, right. So John used to be monetized on YouTube, but then he took all of his videos off and left YouTube for 8 months. And he came back and he goes, due to YouTube's ineptitude, I can no longer accept super chats. It's like, no, John, this is your fault.
Yeah, he has to do 4,000 hours to become monetized, or 4,000 minutes, right?
Well,
4,000 hours or minutes?
Somehow, he came back yesterday. He was supposed to go on Kevin Brennan's channel. This is all very confusing. I apologize. I'm going to try to make this simple.
I know, it's really hard.
I know. I feel like people are tuning out right now. Don't Dreamweaver on me. We're gonna make sense. So he was supposed to go on Kevin Brennan's channel because he couldn't monetize his channel, but then all of a sudden he could. So yesterday he comes back and he does his brand new show, Hypocrisy Police, during Stuttering John.
Jesus.
He did it with his old pal, the Army Major, Richard Ojeda.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited as hell.
Yeah.
And he was able to get super chats. All of a sudden, he's back to being monetized. So he's back in the game. I am so excited because thinking that Stuttering John would ever come back, I didn't think he would. But even if he did, I thought, well, it's going to be, John's mostly boring. I make him interesting. No, he is fantastic.
Richard Ojeda makes him better, too, because Richard Ojeda, he wants to curb stomp anyone. I mean, if somebody doesn't say hello to him, he wants to curb stomp them.
Yeah. I don't have the clip, but I'll just tell you it's funny. Richard, his name is Ojeda, but John pronounces Ojeda. Richard goes, they're talking about Trump, and Richard wishes he was dead. He says that, just, easy peasy says that. And then later on in the show, he's like, and I like Biden, and there's probably people who think that I should be dead for supporting Biden.
I have a question. How come when I decided to just quickly look for, hey, you said his Stuttering John's new show is called Hypocrisy Police. I just typed in hypocrisypolice.com and it went to Who Are These Podcasts? What's that all about,
Ooh,
Karl?
he's gaming the algorithm.
No, my buddy Vinny Paulino bought the domain as soon as John had his T-shirt that said Hypocrisy Police, and he's like, "Yep, this is the new show, Hypocrisy Police." Vinny's like, "I'll
goes
be
right
buying that."
That's right to WATP.
Moron. He made shirts before he registered the domain.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Oh man.
Doing that.
And where does Shuley stand in all this?
So Shuley did something that was incredible. Now, John did his first Hypocrisy Police show on Friday, just this past Friday. And his first guest was Chad Zumach. Now, him and Chad had already done 6 hours together, and Chad is sick of John at this point. So John insists that Chad be his first guest. Well, apparently, and no one knew this, Chad and Shuley and Bob Levy had made up behind the scenes before this happened.
Oh God.
So Chad's on with Stuttering John. They're doing a secret snipe stream. They're not broadcasting it. They're just recording it themselves.
Okay.
They start messaging.
Is this
Chad's-
okay, by the way, to just record someone else's show and just talk over it the whole time while it's live?
What in the hell are you talking about?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but all you guys are doing it, or you're
I
not
think
doing
it's a
it.
copyright violation. I don't do it. That's a copyright violation as far as I know.
Yeah, but it's just normal in this world of these crazy people. They just do it all the time.
These crazy people. Yeah. The crew that I hang with. Yes, I know. I agree.
So
Anyway, long story short, Drew, what happened was Chad actually turned on John and joined Shuley's crew, and they had a whole thing going on, unbeknownst to John, that they were sending him fake Venmo screenshots that Chad was getting all this money. So at the end of their broadcast, John made a couple $100 and Chad pulled up his phone and showed he made over $4,000. It was fake. But John got so upset about this, he lost his mind. He's like, come on, you can send me a VIG, right? Oh, he wanted to wet his beak so badly.
Oh, and then John was at $296. Like, send me $5,000, maybe even $300. And he said it like 5 times, and no one sent the money. And first of all, $5 make it $301, just for the record. I don't know why he needed $300 instead of $296 so badly.
Can't do math.
When the show first started, the people who were so he kept saying Venmo me or PayPal me because he couldn't take super chats back then. This past Friday, and people were sending him 18 cents, 9 cents. It's just so insulting. And then meanwhile, Chad's going, "Oh my gosh, I got another $399. Thank you so much."
To ask him, what was it like working with Howard Stern?
Yeah, he's like, "You gotta Venmo me! Oh, incidentally, Venmo me!" He's getting all freaked out about it. So anyway, this all culminated into this amazing show that we did Sunday night. You can find it on the Shuley Network. It was an Uncle Rico episode where it was all the guys in Uncle Rico, Bob Levy, Shuley Egar, Mike Morse. And then they brought in myself. They brought in Chad Zumach.
Oh my God.
Who was, nobody knew this was going on until this happened. They brought in Anthony Cumia, and then later on, Jim Florentine joined us. So we had this whole crew watching John do his show with Chad, where Chad's trolling him the whole time, and John did not know.
Okay, that's a lot of people, Karl. Was the sum of the parts greater than the whole, or the whole greater than the sum of its parts?
It was too many people. But
Okay.
for the most part, everyone there is a professional. So we're not talking over each other. It wasn't obnoxious. We're watching the clips. We were chiming in when we needed to, but actually a lot of restraint. I've never seen 7 guys who all host shows, who all know to get out of the way of what's actually happening. It was great.
Yeah, I was
So
going to
it's
say,
worthwhile.
inviting 6 people for a snipe thing like that, it just seems like that's way too many people. But
Well, that wasn't a snipe. That was playing clips of John's show with Chad, where Chad was trolling him and John didn't know.
okay, just the clip. Okay. That's
was
still challenging with 7 people, but I want to see it just to see if what you're saying is true.
So now that happened, John thought he was friends with Chad Zumach. Then he saw that on Sunday night. So now they're enemies.
Oh,
then he
no.
thought he was friends with Kevin Brennan. Now they had a falling out. So now he's enemies with Kevin Brennan. Like, John came back. He made friends with me. He made friends with all these people. And now he already hates all of us again.
Why did he and Kevin Brennan
make
break
sense?
up?
Because John was going to go on Kevin's channel, and then at 1 o'clock, and then his engineer, Adam, wasn't available at that time. So John freaked out about it. So Kevin goes on his show yesterday on Misery Loves Company and goes, "I'm out of the Stuttering John business. This guy is a lunatic." And so, of course, John freaked out about it. John's calling me right now, by the way.
Answer it. Answer it.
Oh, answer it. Answer it.
On speaker.
Hey, John, I'm on the Drew and Mike show. They can hear you, buddy.
Never heard of
Ever
us.
heard of him?
Oh, he says call him after.
No. Just ask him real quick.
Call
what
me
it's about.
after.
So loud you can
All
hear
right.
through the earpiece.
I'll
Carl looks
call you
annoyed.
after. All right, buddy.
Hear him in the distance. Drew from Drew and Mike, who I don't know.
All right, see ya.
Well,
It's funny, Scott, because you and I have never heard of Drew and Mike.
So I bought a house in Florida. This is I don't even know how to explain this.
well.
I'm getting threats from a guy that I was just talking to on the phone. So I gotta figure that out.
Wait, John's threatening you?
Yeah. He just sent me notes threatening me. He knows where I live, and he's threatening me. And I'm like,
Oh, he knows your address in Florida.
Yep. So he sent me a threat, and I wrote back. I said, well, that's next level scumbaggery, John. And so now he's calling me, probably realizing that.
Oh, what a loser.
Good idea to put threats in fucking writing. I have the screen grab, John. That's the second time he's threatened me, by the way. Since our falling out, he's threatened me with violence twice now. He said he has a biker gang that he's friends with down in Florida. And my life's going to be very interesting, is what he wrote.
Wait,
so, all right, John.
Carl, this
I
cannot
wasn't
be.
going to bring this up. He just fucking called me. I wasn't even going to bring any of this up. This is insane.
This can't be good for the substitute teaching business.
I know. I agree.
And that's, that was another thing I was going to mention was that he was talking about how great he was doing. First, he said he was making $6,000 to $7,000 a month, which is like, how do you make $6,000 to $7,000 a month substitute teaching? Then he said he's making $106,000 a year, which the math doesn't work there.
Correct.
So that's crazy. But then he threatened to beat up Shuley. He threatened to beat up Bob Levy. He threatened to beat up, I think he's threatened to beat up 4 or 5 people, right?
The best one was he said he's going to go to the Comedy Cellar when he's in New York and find Anthony Cumia and find where he has his gun on him and pull it out and pistol whip him with his own gun.
Oh, jeez.
This is something that most school teachers don't talk about on the internet. Just going to point that out.
I would think you would not want a sub that does stuff like that.
So insane.
Okay, so he was calling to make good. He was calling to.
I don't know what he was calling for. I wish he would have talked to me on the air. I guess he didn't want to.
Did he sound pleasant?
When does he sound pleasant, Drew?
Did he sound angry?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's see if I made any other notes about the Dabbleverse. I was really him yelling so much and people yelling at the same time. Did you pull a clip, Brandon? There was just so much traffic going on.
There's so many of them that I couldn't. There's so many that are being posted on the Dabblers Anonymous that I just couldn't find specifics.
I can start off because I pulled some clips from yesterday's show. I have not even reviewed this anywhere yet. This is all exclusive to the Drew Mike show.
I want to hear it. I want to hear that.
Stuttering John's Hypocrisy Police, episode number 2, with his buddy Richard Ojeda. Now, Richard Ojeda was a politician. He was the Army major. You'll see in these clips, he's got a lot of medals behind him. He's done tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He wants nothing to do with any of this. He doesn't know who Anthony Cumia is. He doesn't know who Julie Egar is. He doesn't care about any of this. And John is forcing him to listen to this. So my track number 14, if we could start there, Mark.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm shot out of a cannon today.
There's a big super chat there, $100 on the screen.
That's a different cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 14's up.
Okay.
Yeah, so 14, Richard's actually giving John some pretty good advice here. Let's see if John.
I'm going to ask you if you could, because I'm going to have to play for Army Major, but I'm going to have to hit the microphone so the N-word doesn't come out.
What?
Here's a guy that does a show, and 5 years ago, he's on a Stern show and uses the N-word. This is the kind of people we're talking about. These are the people, and I'm going to show you some clips that are bleeped, but these are the people that we're talking about. Army Major. These aren't good people. These are criminals. These are people who have been arrested. They are not good people.
Yeah, but John, let me just say something. What you're saying right now is convincing some people to go watch just to see that happen. Don't give them that oxygen. You're better than this, brother. I love you, man. These motherfuckers don't deserve to friggin' daggone push you off your game. Fuck them.
No. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of these people because they try and pretend they're all the, they're these great
Yes.
parents and great people, and yet they use like the N-word, like it's like talking about
I
war.
totally understand that, John, but here's the thing. It's taking your entire show. Fuck them.
I know.
Fuck 'em.
Listen,
I know.
John Elder, thanks for the $2. Teachers.
I don't think John's listening on that one. Right?
Wait, what are these people trying to convince everyone that they're great parents and great? I never hear anyone saying that. They're just making fun of
John
him.
brings up these weird arguments with people where he'll be yelling at Bob Levy and going like, and you weren't even around for your kid. And Bob's like, what are you talking about? I lived with my son. I raised him. What do you mean? So John brings up these things and then people defend themselves. And he's like, and they act like they're good parents. Like, well, Bob was just saying that he raised his son and they have a great relationship. That's all.
Okay, I have a question. Who said the N-word on the Stern Show 5 years ago? Who's he talking about?
That I don't know. That I have to get to the bottom of. I was confused by that one.
It must be Shuley. That he's suggesting he's the only one I know of who was on the show that he talks about.
Yeah, I don't remember Shuley using the N-word.
I don't either. No, of course not.
I mean, it is John's word, so it might not have happened at all.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. So here's another clip. My clip number 12. Where, again, Richard Ojeda is trying to explain that the more he goes after Anthony Cumia and Shuley and Bob Levy and me and on, the more content he's giving all of us. Like, this is perpetuating this, the thing that he doesn't want to have happen.
Thanks for the 100 Danish krona.
100?
Listen to Richard's advice, John. The pawns come to attack your children. Feed on your grief and anger. Don't give them oxygen. Ignore them. They're not worth your time. That's what Army Major's saying.
It's true, John. Piss
I
on 'em.
know it's true, but I'm going to do it for a little while.
That's like a child. This is bad for you. Stop doing it. I know it is, but I want to.
Yes.
He got a $100 super chat. Was he getting a lot of super chats on his show?
Oh, those were not dollars.
That's
that was
Danish kronas. Oh, that's what he was talking about.
That's probably $6.
Yeah.
Is what that was.
Brandon, will you look up how much a Danish kroner is from the U.S.?
Carl, any idea how profitable his show was in super chats?
Well, he went on for 3 hours, so I have not watched the whole thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
He probably made a couple $100.
How much was it? How much was it, Brandon? The 100 Danish kroners is how much?
$14.77.
That's still $14.
But 100 looks better.
That's something. Now, watch this, because a lot of the show, and they do get into politics eventually, which is the boring part.
Boy.
But a lot of the show is John trying to inform and educate Richard Ojeda on all of his new edits. my track number 13, you guys are going to love this, because he pulls up a screenshot of us on that Uncle Rico show I was telling you about before Jim Florentine joined us, and just going through one by one.
And then, okay, Richard. Now, take a look at this image, okay?
Memorize these faces.
What it says, the world's biggest losers unite to take on me. All right? Now, Richard, look how many of these guys it takes.
Keep zooming.
Look how many, Richard. That's how many they need to take me on. 6 loses. So almost every one of them
They're all smiling.
turned on me and are fucking phony hypocrite cucks. Now, the one on the top middle, I took him on the road with me, did shows with him, slept at his house, helped his son's band out, and then his name is
sure
Bob
he
Levy. What does he do? Goes on a show so he can make money. So goes on a show, I DM him, and I say, hey, what are you doing, man? I thought we were friends. And he doesn't care. Oh, come on, we're just kidding around. 800 shows later, he's still just kidding around, huh?
Ooh.
That's kidding around? What would you say, Army Major?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're giving them a show.
Now the one in the bottom left,
He's not listening. So not listening.
He's educating someone who doesn't want to be educated on this.
I mean, Major General Ojeda keeps telling him, stop talking about these people. I know, but look at this.
He goes, John, you're making this worse for yourself. You got to stop doing this. He goes, okay, but hold on. So this guy over here, you know what he said about me?
What?
This is all he had to say about me. He goes, he's obsessed with me, can't stop talking about me. That would be like if I went to an auto mechanic. I'm like, this asshole's just fixing cars all day. That's all he's doing all day long. But he did it. It's literally my job.
Oh, man. Any more clips of John?
Yeah, I got a kicker for us. I got a
Okay.
fun one to get out of this because, yeah, this goes on and on and on with Richard trying to reason with John and John just not hearing it.
Well, it's just so funny that he's trying to educate him on this very, very complicated story if you're not paying attention to it, which he isn't, and he doesn't want to be educated on it, and John just force-feeding him.
Right. Most importantly, Richard has made it clear he doesn't care. John's like, these guys are all scumbags. He's like, great, let's never talk about him again. Just like, no, we got to talk about him a lot. He's like, no, you just said they're scumbags. Why are we talking about
Well,
this?
why does Richard want to do a show with John? John doesn't do any prep for what they're doing.
They claim to be very good friends. And Drew, I don't know
That's
what
really
to tell
weird.
you, man. It's very odd. So this is my kicker, my track number 15, and this is just classic Stuttering John Melendez. His brain is getting smoother by the minute.
And yet they go on his show even after he uses the J word in a derogatory fashion, and yet they still go on the show. Army Major, now let me ask you, what's your ethnicity?
It was what?
No, what?
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity?
Are you Irish? I don't know.
Ethnicity?
Sounded like ethnicity. My favorite police song is Synchronicity.
Can you play that? Can you play the second half of that again? Because ethnicity is what he's trying to say, and he gets it wrong both times, but wrong by a lot, though. It's shocking.
I love it.
Major, now let me ask you, what's your ethnicity?
What's my what?
Ethnicity. Are you Irish? I don't know.
Hispanic.
The major just wanted to force him to say it wrong again.
He did it worse the second time.
Yeah. Also, the guy's name is Ohina, and he goes, "You Irish?"
And he mispronounces his name all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, Richard pronounces his name Ojeda. That's the very American way to pronounce it. It should be Ojeda, which is what John says, because John's Puerto Rican. He knows.
That's my favorite part about it. I didn't even realize. Yeah, his last name is Ojeda or Ojeda or whatever he was. That's not going to be Irish.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Irish, British, what are you?
In a derogatory fashion, and yet they still go on the show. Army Major, now let me ask you, what's your ethnicity?
What's my what?
Ethnicity. Are you Irish? I don't know.
Hispanic.
What is Ojeda? Is it Chinese?
He's going to be on the Snipe stream next time with everybody else.
Oh, shit.
And bringing in our special guest, Richard Ojeda. Get in here, Army Major.
He's trolling John, too.
Fine Irishman, Richard Ojeda.
Oh, my God.
The other thing in that clip that John says, he goes, he used the J word as a derogatory term. What the fuck is the J word?
Jewish? Jew?
Jew, probably. I'm assuming.
So he's saying that Anthony is anti-Jew and Shuli had him on the show.
The Jew.
Right?
So John's problem with Shuli is that he went on Anthony's show and he's like, you know that Anthony's anti-Semitic. I know Anthony pretty well. He's not anti-Semitic. I don't know where that's even coming from. But he's like, yeah, he used the J word. I'm like, that's the name. That's what you call Jews. What do you mean?
Oh, man.
Understand.
Oh, this is gonna be a wild ride this time. I can feel it already. But if John makes $200 or $300 a show, he's in.
Yeah.
There's no way he's stopping.
I hope so. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to go back to, because I guess school starts up in mid-August in LA. I don't know if he's going to stop podcasting in mid-August or if he's just going to say, this is more fun. I'm just going to start podcasting again. I hope it's the latter.
Well, he loves the kids so much and he wants to help. He wants to help out, is what we were led to believe. That the system.
Yeah. He goes, it's not about the money. By the way, I make $106,000 a year.
But the system needs him. They were short of teachers, so someone was begging him on behalf of the kids to come back, and that's why he did it. But maybe he won't keep doing it. We'll have to wait and see. But Hypocrisy Police is off to a great start, that's for sure.
I love it. It's a great show. And Drew, I think I might have already said this, so I apologize. I can't imagine John coming back in a better manner than he's come back in, because it used to be that John would interview celebrities or he'd talk politics, and maybe every now and again he'd address me or Shuley or something. His whole show content now is just about us and about the Dabbleverse. He's acknowledged the Dabbleverse.
Smart.
He knows what this whole thing is. It's hilarious. I love every second. The only problem is there's too much content for me to clip. That's the only problem that I'm having right now.
I know there's like 6 shows that do nothing but talk about each other, and there's constant fights, adults wanting to beat up other adults. It's just insane. But there's something terribly irresistible about listening to it. I just can't keep up with all of it. So I'm counting on you, Karl, to sift it down and give me the bare bones.
And, you know, since you brought that up, I'll just say, if you want to follow this stuff without watching hours and hours of programming, like some of us have to, there are certain subreddits. There's our subreddit. There's one called Hackverse Anonymous. Anonymous. There's obviously Dabblers Anonymous. So there's a few places you can go that they pull all the clips and they're all talking about it. You can get caught up pretty quickly if you need to.
And did you send clips over from the official podcast?
I'm sorry?
Karl, did you send clips for the official podcast this time or no? Did you instead do John?
A different show. It's
yeah. There is a show called The Official Podcast. My buddy Kaya Orson's on it. That's why I'm like, the official podcast? We're not doing that today. No, we're talking about Teachers Off Duty.
Oh, okay. Okay, because you sent the teaser to me for the official podcast.
Yes.
Which is the most mindless thing I've ever heard in my life. But Teachers Off Duty, I'm excited to hear that.
All right, so the reason why I brought this is because they are doing a stand-up show, and they're touring the country, and they're coming to the comedy club down the street from me. My buddy Vinny works there. He helps with promotions, and he got the video clip promoting their stand-up show, and he sent it to me, and he's just like, FML, because this is problem with comedy clubs in the summertime. Nobody wants to sit in a dark room with, you know, the blinds closed for 2 hours in the summertime, so it's very tough to get shows in, so you got to get what you can get. Now, this is my track number 1 here is the trailer to their podcast.
Welcome to the Teachers Off Duty podcast, the #1 teacher podcast in the world.
Brought to you by the #1 teacher entertainment platform in the world, Bored Teachers.
The Teachers Off Duty podcast is pure chaos, but it's like the good kind of chaos that you want to tune in for.
The Teachers Off Duty podcast is a place where teachers can be completely vulnerable and listen to some of the craziest stories in the classroom and realize, you know what, we're all in this together, and the craziness that goes on one side of the country goes on the other side of the country as well.
Even a movie director couldn't make this stuff up.
I can't stand edited clips of people together, where there's edited constant clips of people who are laughing so hard they're literally splitting their kidneys, every single one of them, because you know it can't be that funny.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Mark already mentioned this, but movie directors make up stories. Yeah. It's actually in their title. What they do, they direct the movie, so they don't.
I mean, I'm afraid that's nitpicking a little, but they are teachers.
Well, that's what I can't wait to talk to you guys about, because these people are really dumb. And it's shocking to me that they're coming out there, they're like, we're the people who teach your children, and then they don't know anything.
I do want to set the stage of what it looks like for those just listening, because I really hate their studio, mainly because they all have a mic in front of them, but they have the smallest table, so their guts are all exposed like ahead of the table. So it's a bad, awkward look to begin with, regardless of how bad the content is.
So this is hosted by Lauren Woolley. Yeah, Lauren Woolley, Gabe Dannenbring, Bree Richardson, Tell Williams. So there's a white girl and a white guy on either end. The token black woman who's overweight and sassy. And then you have Tell Williams, who's the gay guy, who over next to her.
I knew who that was. Tell you which guy was gay. They're both only just one of them's gay. I'm being serious, because they both look.
No, that's a good point, Mark.
They both look gay.
Listen, I'm not in their bedrooms, Mark. I don't know what's going on.
I'm just saying.
Okay, there's one openly gay guy in the group, which I'm
just reporting my observations.
It's a McDonald's commercial, basically, in terms of.
This whole episode is talking about how they use pop culture to help them with their teaching. Now, keep in mind, the audience for this is other teachers. So this is a whole racket, because what they do is from July through August, they tour the United States and get all the people who don't have anything else going on in their lives to come out and see them and laugh about like work-related stuff.
Oh God.
Don't you hate it?
Yeah, so the idea is
like this, and you're like, oh yeah.
No, it sounds like a terrible idea. Horrible.
This is so bad. So they start off by discussing a movie that stars Cameron Diaz. Now, they never mention the name of this movie. They try to figure out who's in it. Track number 2. This is so bad.
Is he a substitute?
He's a sub.
Okay,
Yeah. Happy-go-lucky, like just loving. Ignorance is bliss.
Isn't he also rich? Like he's like his family is like a watch.
Something
to do with like a watch company.
Yeah.
So she tries to go after him, and like it doesn't work out, and then she ends up with who's the guy who?
Oh yeah, what is it?
The PE teacher.
The PE teacher.
What's his name? He was
always the PE
He was
teacher.
in
not Jason. I'm thinking Jason Segel, but that's
Jason
not right.
Sudeikis.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not. Is that
I don't know. But it's a guy.
Contribution.
But it's a guy. I love that Jason Sudeikis single.
Oh, access to information is so hard these days.
Right off the bat, they don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Right off the bat. It is Jason Segel, by the way, who's in that movie with Cameron Diaz. And
Jason Sudeikis.
It's called Bad Teacher.
I mean, one of them could have actually looked it up on their phone, too, which happens commonly when people have conversations like this where no one knows what they're talking about.
This is what I'm talking about. There's multiple examples of this. Let's go to track number 6. They're talking about Saved by the Bell because they're talking about all these shows that feature teachers in it at school and stuff.
Oh,
and
Jesus,
so you seem to know a lot about Saved by the Bell here.
what was her name on Saved by the
Lisa
Bell?
or Kelly?
Kelly, right?
The brunette.
Brunette.
I think Kelly.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Is that Kelly or I haven't watched it in a while.
Lisa was the preppy girl. Kelly was the brunette.
Kelly Kapoor.
Yeah, I was Kelly Kapoor.
Yeah.
No.
I got it.
No.
What's Kelly Kapoor?
Kapowski.
Right?
Yeah, Kelly Kapoor.
That was her name?
What?
That was her show name, right?
The Office.
Can I check that?
Not
Wasn't Kelly Kapoor from The Office?
Oh wait, yeah.
Love The Office.
I was like, wasn't that the
yeah.
Office
Funny.
character?
A little different
Mindy.
character there.
That's Mindy, right?
Mindy Kaling.
Mindy
Yeah.
Kaling. Gosh,
I love her.
This is not a show. This is, by the way, I used to go to this Mexican restaurant I really enjoyed. My friend and I would go there for happy hour on Fridays. And for some reason, all the school teachers started coming there for happy hour and screaming at each other in these types of conversations. And we got to stop going there because they're the most obnoxious people on the planet.
I got to tell you, the black woman had the 2 best contributions there. One was, I love The Office, when someone mentioned The Office. And then someone mentioned Mindy Kaling, and she goes, I love her.
You're right.
I mean, how do you disagree with that?
I called that track The Ramblings of Retards.
People assuredly telling you the wrong information is so funny. I don't know why.
Oh, it's great.
They're so self-assured about it, though.
Now, Kelly Kapowski, obviously, Mark, you knew that. You shouted that out. Or as Vinny and I refer to her, Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
They should have known.
Beverly and Matisse's. Now, were they scared to say that Lisa Turtle was the black girl?
Yes, I'm glad you picked up on that.
Right.
They're like, that's the preppy one, right?
Yeah. And they kept saying brunette. I'm like, well, she's the one black person on that show.
Right.
It's kind of identifiable.
Who refers to a black woman as a brunette? I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Because no one does. No one does that.
Yeah, okay.
Kelly
Just checking.
Kapowski's also a brunette, so that doesn't help things either.
Just because you're identifying someone by the skin tone that they have doesn't mean you're racist. You're just identifying a person.
If someone says a brunette, I'm assuming it's not a black person, honestly.
Yeah, well, yeah. You're racist.
All right.
Sorry.
You guys want to hear how little they know about anything? My
Yeah.
track number 7 is another example of this.
For sure.
Which number?
7.
7. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what my creepiest movie teacher is.
Ooh.
And then I want to know what your creepiest. So there's a show called The Following. I think what's his name? Kevin Bacon or Stephen Bacon? What's his name? Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon with the nose.
Yeah, I love that we're just destroying all these people's names right now. I'm so sorry.
Bacon.
Okay, so Kevin Bacon. Wait, which one is the guy from 24?
That's not Sutherland. Keith
Right, okay, I was just making sure I went.
Okay.
Just make sure I wasn't getting it
Footloose is
wrong.
Kevin Bacon.
Right, okay. Kevin Bacon.
Oh, my Lord.
It's not a show. This is not a show, people. I'm telling you. Promise you that.
And they're going to do a stand-up?
Yeah, and these people come around and do stand-up shows, and they're playing the comedy club here, but they play theaters too. If you see some of these YouTube channels get 100,000 subs and all these people watching, it's insane.
I do want to point out this whole idea of them not knowing things, and we were wondering, well, can you just Google it? That one girl right there is on her phone during that last segment, so she could have looked up Stephen Bacon, Kevin Bacon, any Bacon she wanted to.
Well, that was the one where she goes, is it Kevin or Stephen Bacon? Now, Kevin Bacon has been a movie star for my entire life.
Yeah, there's a game about him.
Kevin Bacon is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's connected to more actors than anyone else.
Yes.
And there's no Stephen Bacon or anyone. There's a Stephen Bauer, but he's kind of obscure.
I wish there was a Stephen Bacon. That's a great name.
All right, so my track number 3. So they're going around and talking about their favorite teacher movies.
Okay,
I think I know what this guy's talking about, but no one else does.
What's the one when the one guy, he's like, how do I reach these kids? You know that one?
I've heard that phrase. I've heard that line before. I don't know what movie that is.
Yeah.
Is that a new movie?
No, it's old movie. Old movie.
How do I reach these kids? How do I reach these kids?
Stand and deliver.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about South Park.
I think it was a movie.
Jaime Escalante, right? Wasn't that the?
Yeah, no. Stand and deliver. It was a great movie.
Yeah, that's how everyone learned to multiply by 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. Bloop. Sorry.
All right. So on my track number 4, it seems like this woman, Lauren, is discovering how comedy works in real time.
One of my biggest pet peeves is like, because I don't know. I do this every time we watch TV or movies. I'm like, that would never happen. Like, because we'll watch, I make it known. Bob's Burgers is like one of my favorite shows ever. It's just a funny cartoon.
It's hilarious.
And it's constantly following the children in school.
Right.
And the teachers are, like, the majority of the teachers in the school are like awful.
Louise.
Yeah. And the librarian.
Yes.
The librarian cracks me up because it's Billy Eichner.
Yeah.
And he's literally like hating his job. And I know that there are teachers out there that are, could relate.
Yeah, I feel this
But
today.
no one is obvious about it at school like that. Like, he's like, I hate books. And like, he's the librarian.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny.
It's like exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's like something that someone wouldn't actually do. I can't believe cartoons get away with that. This guy actively saying he hates his job and he's still employed. How is that possible?
She does seem to think that Billy Eichner sort of creates everything about the character. Is it possible that Billy Eichner is just reading lines someone else wrote, but she gives Billy the credit?
So probably the director wrote it.
Maybe she has a little more to learn still.
Probably, yeah. Did you see that, though? As her brains process, she's like, and I get upset when things happen that aren't even realistic in this comedy cartoon I watch. That's what it is. It's so nuts.
What are you talking about?
But strangely, these things that would never happen make me laugh.
And then Wile E. Coyote falls off the cliff, but then he's okay again. And I'm just, this wouldn't happen in real life. If he survived, there'd be months in the hospital. I don't know.
And yet I find myself laughing about it. And yet it would never happen.
No.
How strange.
My track number 5 is funny because she says this with so much confidence. I would never say this with any confidence at all, but she was right, so I got to give it to her.
But like the one that, and I know we all are going to agree with this, I love Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Mr. Feeney.
Yes.
Mr. Feeney is the best.
He really is.
I cried so bad when it was his last episode.
Oh my God.
These are mental patients that we're watching.
Oh, wow.
Teaching our youth, these people.
I'm speechless.
I don't get it.
Remember that kid, that Will Friedle? He was all upset that the new updated show
took his
stole
catch
it.
line. That's
the only
right.
reason why I have it in the system. So
right.
So dumb.
You guys are all going to agree with me, but Boy Meets World's amazing. You're like, oh, yeah, well, of course. We all know that. Crazy thing to say. Okay, so they've gone through, they've talked about all their favorite movies, all their favorite TV shows. Oh, they talk about Michelle Pfeiffer's role.
Dangerous
What's the
Minds.
movie?
Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds, yeah.
And by the way, that's problematic because it's a white savior complex. I didn't realize that.
Oh.
Okay.
Because the one person says that that's a good movie, and they're like, "Boo!" But no, not really though. I mean, it was, but not anymore. Now we don't like that movie.
She should have left those kids stupid.
Don't white people ever really save people, though? I mean, isn't that possible?
Never.
That could happen? That could happen.
No, can't.
No?
No one cares about the whites.
Okay.
True.
Really? We never
White
do
people
anything?
are bad.
I
White
know.
people are bad. I did not know this.
I know that. Believe me. But I just thought maybe once in a blue moon it could happen, and that would make at least the genesis of a potential script that would be allowed.
That's Hollywood. They're always shutting out the minorities. They don't want them involved. That's the problem right there.
Yeah, I guess it's so unusual. It would just be rude to suggest that a white person would be the savior for someone of lesser means.
Highly offensive.
Okay, I get it.
So then this is great because they spend 25 minutes just talking about TV shows and movies. So now we're going to offer up another medium and see what they think about that. I track number 8.
Who was your favorite pop culture teacher reference in like a book?
Oh.
What's a
I don't read many books.
For me,
I don't read
I would
many
say
books.
like Miss Nelson is missing.
Oh, I love Miss Nelson.
I love that
You
book.
guys read this many books? Who's that?
Are you
yeah.
joking? It's a
Kids,
kid's
like-
book. Come on.
I don't know
Okay,
what Miss
so-
Nelson's missing.
So Miss Nelson is missing.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Who's Miss Nelson?
It doesn't matter. That guy doesn't read books, and he's a teacher.
Yeah. These are teachers. They go books.
Ugh,
All
gross.
3 of them. All 3 of them went, what? What do you mean?
what are these
What are we
books?
talking about?
What book was she talking about? I'm just curious.
Well, she's talking about this. It's from 1977. Miss Nelson disappears or something like that.
Is that
But
really
it's
something you should expect everyone to have read?
It's a children's book. Her one example is a children's book. It's about this teacher who has an unruly class and dresses up like a substitute, but it's actually her. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Carl, how do you know the book so well? Did you look it up?
The point, yes, of course. The point is this.
As he preps, unlike these idiots.
They couldn't come up with anything. Harry Potter is a book. There's teachers in Harry Potter. This was an easy one. You're going to act like you read it and not watched it. So I thought that was embarrassing.
All I know is that if the stand-up is anything like this, I would love to go.
All right, Drew, you and I have a date then.
I'm laughing my ass off.
Now, I don't normally pull clips like this. My track number 9, I honestly don't know what Lauren is talking about. And I'm hoping you guys,
Okay.
this isn't pulled out of context or anything. This is everything you need to know. Please explain to me what's going on here.
Okay.
So Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Okay.
Monsters Inc.
When I was in school, Monsters Inc. came out when I was young.
Yeah.
And then Monsters University came out when I graduated high school. And like my entire class was like, oh my God, and they graduated with us and he's going to college. And I'm going to college. And I'm like, and it was
that
like one
moment.
of those moments. The same thing happened with Toy Story.
Brandon?
She feels that she's grown up with them, and when they graduate, she graduate. I don't know.
This is a nice stab. Boy, she's got a hell of a green blob on her leg. Jesus, look at that thing when her shorts pull up. Holy shit, what a tattoo that is. I wonder what it is.
I wonder if it was smaller when it was originally inked.
I think it was.
That's called value tattooing.
Yes, correct.
Just got it cheaper.
Small and skinny.
Carl, are you slightly intrigued to see this show when it comes to your town?
Yes. I was actually thinking about that. What if I just sat in the front row with my arms folded and stared at them the whole time?
Or just obnoxiously laugh.
I'm afraid that I would be laughing too hard and almost draw attention to myself. Either as someone who just outright loved the show or just complete asshole who's laughing at them.
My buddy Blind Mike just drove all the way to Maryland from Boston to see Tom Myers perform stand-up comedy.
I heard about that. I was shocked. Why did he do that? That's a long way to
Tom
go.
Myers is the worst comic to ever live, and he wanted to experience it live. And so him and a bunch of a buddy of his, and then a bunch of listeners all got together. They bought all the back row seats, and they hooted and hollered and laughed at everything Tom Myers said. And Tom got so much confidence. He said by his third joke, he's just walking on air. He's moving around the stage like, I can't do anything wrong. Everyone's cracking up laughing, because I think that would be you and me at this board teacher.
Yes.
Show.
But did Blind Mike get kicked out of the show eventually for laughing too hard?
That fan told security, feel free to kick these people out, because that fan was jealous that Tom Myers was getting laughs. Dat fan even said, because he was the headliner, that fan came up and said, I know you guys are probably goofing on Tom Myers, which is wildly inappropriate. Tom Myers is feeling so good about himself. He just had a great set. Everyone's laughing.
Yeah. Oh, he's jealous.
I know you guys are just goofing on him on stage. Like, Dad, come on, man.
You mean he was not on the stage? He came out from backstage to tell them, I know you guys are goofing on him?
No, he said that while he was doing his set.
What?
Come
on. So he could fully humiliate Tom Myers.
Yes, it's a dick move. That fan's a dick.
Well, I can't, actually.
That fan from
from Funniest Comic or whatever.
Last Comic Standing?
You mean to tell me.
Last Comic Standing season one,
right?
Over
I remember
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Carl, now that I know that Dat Fan and Tom Myers were on the same bill, I'm thinking that is something I might drive multiple states for. I'm thinking the same bill. That's incredible.
It was a great story. I listening to Blind Mike tell that story, I was enthralled. So yeah, I think it was worth it.
No, Blind Mike has kind of he's sort of attached himself to Dat Fan, sort of like you did with Stuttering John. Kind of stumbled into him, and he's discovering that he's someone who has no idea that he should not be a big star. I mean, Dat Fan is really, really bad. He's terrible.
Yeah. So Dat Fan's whole act is he's Vietnamese, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes to go up and do an impression of his mom, and he just does like the over-the-top Asian accent.
But he's allowed to.
But he's allowed to, I guess, and it's funny, but it's not. And he's
awful.
About raising them. Yeah.
And Blind Mike was pointing out that that winning Last Comic Standing does not mean you're a good comic, although we've been pretending that it does for a long time. And I like the way he's diving into Dat Fan, because I think in my mind, if someone said, hey, you want to have Dat Fan on? I'd probably go, oh, God, no. But I wouldn't be shocked to be asked, because it just seems like that's a thing, that's a credit that somehow stands up, and I don't know why. I mean, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting person to kind of pile on.
So once Blind Mike found out that Dat Fan wanted to kick him and his friends out of the show, because he didn't know about it at the time, he found out after the fact. And I guess he met Dat Fan after the show, and he had his cane. He's got his dark glasses on. He's got his cane. Blind Mike's blind. And he talked to Dat Fan, and then he found out afterwards they wanted to kick him out. So he's been having everyone respond to all of Dat Fan's Instagram posts or whatever he's on with the emoji of the blind guy in the cane. So now Dat Fan has started to block people who post that on any of his posts.
I can't believe many people even respond to Dat Fan on social media. That blows my mind.
Oh, we were checking out his TikTok on Who Are These Socials the other day, and it's unwatchable. It's like watching your aunt's slideshow from her vacation, because he's just driving around the Southeast, and he's like, here we are in Alabama.
Oh, yeah,
Now
I heard
we're in
this.
Louisiana. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
he's not doing anything interesting. He's not anywhere cool. It's just like, this is boring.
Yeah, he points out that he got hit by a gust of wind or something, and that was the whole post.
His hair is blowing, and he's like, oh, we got to do a TikTok about this. Neat.
Oh, man. Yeah, Who Are These Socials was fun last week. I listened to it. All right, so we're out of cuts. We're ready.
No, I got two more.
Oh, two more. Oh, good. Oh, thank God.
Yes, because I want to point out the gay guy, Tell Williams, he uses two words incorrectly here. And remember, this is a teacher who should know how English works.
We would be amiss if we didn't bring this pop culture reference up. But the Oregon Trails.
Oh my God.
There was nothing funner than dying of dysentery
on the Oregon Trail
in fifth grade on the Macintosh computer.
Oh boy.
Amiss, he meant remiss?
Yeah, we'd be remiss.
What was the other one?
The most funner. Yeah.
Oh, funner. Okay.
Way funner.
So there's
maybe he's not an English teacher. Maybe he does gym.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I swear to God, I remember a time when I was a kid where I don't think teachers said stupid shit like that. I just don't think they did.
Well, your teachers didn't do podcasts either, Drew.
True, you're right.
Right. I also don't know what he was going for with on the Macintosh computer. It's like, well, Apple's still a huge company that makes amazing products. Why are you goofing on Macintosh computers?
No, it's very strange. The whole thing.
Doesn't make any sense. All right,
unmissed. Unmissed is so far from remissed. That's weird. And unmissed, yeah, with a T.
Yeah, that's not even a word, I don't think.
Unmissed.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last track I have here, this show devolves into, because you just heard him there say, well, we got to talk about Oregon Trail. And then it just evolves into, remember this, remember that, remember this. And this is my last
rememberings.
Or like, do you remember all the Jumpstart games? Jumpstart first grade.
Okay, hold on. Y'all, wait, we're going to have a moment.
Frankie.
Pre-K pause.
Jumpstart 4th grade.
the scary one.
Okay.
That creeped me out.
idea what they're talking about.
Listen.
Remember slimy?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, geez.
There's the member berries at the end there.
Good stuff.
I can't believe they can tour and what they charge for tickets.
What do they charge, Mark?
They're coming to Saginaw, and it was about $50.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
teachers buy the tickets?
On that salary? No.
I mean, I would assume a lot of teachers. I would assume a lot of teachers go, right?
I'm gonna blow your guys' minds now, because I have some inside information about this. They have multiple groups that tour. So Vinny was upset because the comedy club we're getting in Rochester is the B team. We're not even getting the A-listers of the board teachers.
What? Oh my God.
Wow.
So bad.
So you don't get Tell Williams.
Is there a C team and a D team, or just an A and a B team?
I don't know. I don't know how many there are, but if you're looking at dates, Mark, maybe you could.
That's funny because I didn't see Rochester on there, so I must have been looking at. I guess Saginaw's getting the A team.
Well,
maybe that's what I was looking at. Are they sold out?
Yeah.
Are they sold out near you, Karl? Do you know?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they did, because teachers, like cops, can only talk to other teachers. That seems to be, they seem to have this like weird connection. I wouldn't be surprised.
I do find it really weird that, I'm looking at their website here, the board teachers, they are touring during the fall when school is in session.
What?
Oh, well, that's not good.
I gotta tell you, I would be livid if I was in Rochester and knew that the A team was going to Saginaw while Rochester gets the B team. Rochester's a much bigger market than Saginaw.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I would
That's
think
really sad.
Come on, I have friends who own the club. I want to do well. Let's not let the cat out of the bag.
No, I don't want to hurt the show. Anyway, wow, that was a great episode, Karl. I got to tell you, we got the latest on Stuttering John and that whole world. How long is this going to how long will this go around before it burns itself out, or will it just go on forever, Karl?
Drew, I thought who are these podcasts were going to burn out 4 years ago. No, I've been wrong with all my predictions.
No, you know what? There's so many shows coming out all the time. There's no end to the need for who are these podcasts. I just wonder how long this business of show hating and talking about each other, and there's other peripheral shows too involved, like Steel Toe Morning Show and other ones that just talk about these stupid shows and their stupid fights. But it's really created an economy. It has.
Well, that's why I talked about the Hackverse Anonymous subreddit, because they kind of cover all these shows that are part of this weird world that we've created and that we're all a part of. And I got to tell you, Drew, I'm with you. I think because I was watching the BS show. I've been watching that lately. That Shuley show that he does in the morning. Mm-hmm. I was watching that this morning because they were recapping what happened on MLC yesterday, and they're talking about what's going on with Chad and Bob versus Kevin. And so I'm kind of like in that world and interested, and I need to be able to talk about that on other people's shows. But I find that kind of content to be short-lived. I'm with you. That's why Who Are These Podcasts is such a different show, because we can just go in and pick on a Brendan Schaub or a Bobby Lee or whatever is out there, or Bad Teachers or whatever, and have a show about it, where these other shows depend on other people doing things and saying shit and having drama.
Yeah, it starts to feel like Vanderpump Rules or something like that to me. Or The Bachelor or one of those, which I like those shows. So, I mean, it's kept my interest to some degree so far. So I'm not knocking it. It just seems like it would have a limited run.
I like that you thought it was going to end 4 years ago, and now today.
Karl's presenting like a straight up cunt smasher now.
That's right.
Straight up cunt smasher, Karl.
Love it. Good job. Keep that one on the board. Keep that one around.
It's been up there the whole time.
Very good.
All right, Carl, you're brought to us by Hall Financial. Call Hall first. Always call Hall first. 866-CALL-HALL or go to callhallfirst.com for your 5-minute mortgage review. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Yeah, and check out Who Are These Podcasts. The episode we put out this week is the Blondcast, and we had a first ever co-host.
That was great.
Tukey.
The puppet.
The puppet.
Yeah.
And I
Tukey
have to tell
was
you
great.
guys,
He did good.
I enjoyed Tukey.
very funny. And people might think that we've jumped the shark. I've seen that written a few places because there's a puppet on our show, but Tukey is hilarious. And I did try to get the guy who voices Tukey to be on our show. He doesn't do that. He just does characters. So I said, okay, in that case, we'll take Tukey. And we did 3 hours. This poor guy, by the end, he had to pull this thing off of his arm. And just let his arm down. I don't know how he was cramping up and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, buddy. That was a lot of work for you, but he did fantastic.
Okay, this is probably radio or podcasting for one, but did you guys ever mention that the Blondcast had the gayest microphone stands in the history of microphone stands?
Well, you know what I didn't point out, and I should have, is that they're both sitting cross-legged on the floor around like this really crappy coffee table thing. They didn't even have chairs on that show. It was so bad. Did you see that?
The mic stands, you guys should go into Who Are These Pod, the recent one, and look at the microphone stands. Yeah, I noticed they were sitting there. It was very bizarre. And that guy's blonde hair was horrible, and it was just an awful show. I was very glad that you were sticking with your normal format, though, because I was thought, I hope Karl doesn't just do all Stuttering John, all MLC, all, this crazy universe. But no, you were sticking to your format, so I was glad, and I did enjoy it. Because that new show is terrible. It was fun to listen to.
I mean, we're still in the middle of a Patrick Michael song parody contest. We have a lot of things going on. We're not just going to get distracted by Stuttering John and do nothing but Stut Show stuff. I promise you that. We got a lot of things going on here.
All right. Keep it up, Karl. We'll talk to you soon. And we'll see you September the 15th at the Magic Bag.
WATPlive.com. Thank you for remembering. Tickets are moving. I get an update almost every day.
Good.
And, tickets are moving. So
it's surprising too because that's the same night that Corey Feldman is in town. So we got some stiff competition.
Whew. Good thing we beat him to the punch.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Corey's at. Is he at the Token Lounge?
I think so. You're going head to head with Corey Feldman.
I think
I'm not sure which one I'm going to go to now.
I think you'll sell more tickets than Corey. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Probably. And Ted Williams might be there. So
that's right.
If we could pay him.
His first payment's been accepted. That breaking news.
Oh wow.
Yes. We somehow cracked through the Zelle code to get him $1,000.
We have to pay him in installments.
Yes, because of the Zelle limits.
Home Depot cards.
I think that's on his side, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's working out. It's working out okay. I thought it was $500 limit. We got to manage to get 1,000 to him. So we got some great TED voiceovers coming along with the jingle. We'll have our own jingle. We can break it down ourselves.
we won't know what it says.
I know.
We'll have no idea.
All right, Karl. Thanks.
See ya.